Indiana Fever, WNBA Playoffs. Do they got the 6th seed or the 7th seed? Do they play the Atlanta Dream or do they play the Las Vegas Aces? Does it really matter? I beg to differ. Stephanie White's got an opportunity, and Indiana Fever set some records, no doubt about it, but not the record they're looking for, right? We're looking for a record to be set. It's a WNBA championship, and the Indiana Fever got an opportunity to go get it if they want to go get it. Now, what does that mean? Indiana Fever team has improved with injuries. That's right. So you don't have a lot of time, don't have a lot of season. You've got what you call a makeshift team that can do one thing and one thing only, and this team does it well. Let's play some good team defense and get after them. The Indiana Fever can get in the playoffs, and I'll tell you something, folks, in the WNBA. That's right, the WNBA and Indiana Fever being the flagship team. I got to help you out with this one, right? We're going to support the team that makes the most money, right? So Kathy Engelbert talked about the WNBA officials and the process. Well, they put them through the process. The process now is the Indiana Fever in the playoffs, and Indiana Fever are going to get some calls in the playoffs, right? Because we can't stop the money train. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. All things are possible to those who believe. We're going to have a little sip of coffee. But you can't stop the money train. That's right. And this was going to get interesting to me because, you know me, I said I'd never take Caitlyn Clark. So I want to see how this lightning in a bottle is going to happen. Now, one thing I did notice with the Indiana Fever, folks, the Indiana Fever broke a record for most wins in history. So they caught lightning in a bottle in 2012, right? Chicago caught lightning in a bottle in 2021, right? I mean, you're talking about teams with 500 records and going ahead and winning championships, right? So this has been done before. Now you got to figure out what to do with Stephanie White, because Stephanie White is going to crank up her mentality of coaching. And Stephanie White, we don't want you to overcoach the Indiana Fever because you're going to throw so much at them because Stephanie White gets into this coaching. And we want the Stephanie White that talks about the team being resilient. We want the Stephanie White that talks about the team that's humble. We want to talk about the team that this is a team of how much you enjoyed them. And you got nothing but confidence for them to go win, right? And you got Caitlyn Clark. Now, the Caitlyn Clark fans are going to soften up on this one. All right, you get to the second round, they're going to soften up a little bit because at some point, there's nothing official that says it. I mean, you could say Caitlyn Clark's out for the season. Let the Indiana Fever get to the second round. Then you go find out a whole lot about Caitlyn Clark, right? Because the healing process when winning, as I told you, it gets better and better and better, right? And if the Indiana Fever get in the finals, and that's all the way in October, who knows how Caitlyn will be feeling then, right? She could feel real good, feel good enough to play, right? So these things with the Indiana Fever, congratulations on making the playoffs. Now it's all about what you're going to do on the playoffs. Kathy Engelbert has told us the WNBA officials are going to make calls for the Indiana Fever. Now, you talk about the Dream. Okay, they're okay. Then you want to talk about the Aces. Nah, they're okay. Neither one of these teams are teams the Indiana Fever can't beat because both of these teams are built off their offense, right? And but you got a couple good point guards going to ride out with them. There's no doubt. NaLyssa Gray can get it in, right? And you also got Chelsea Gray, right? You got a couple Grays can get it in, and then you got Kelsey Mitchell, who is Money Mike's MVP for the WNBA. And the WNBA keeping this MVP going past the regular season, guys. Listen, let me explain it to you, right? I mean, you got the MVP for the season. Clip it now, right? From the beginning of the season to the end of the season. You got an MVP award. Now, if you want to give a divisional round MVP, go for it. If you want to give a WNBA championship round MVP, which you already do, go for it, right? But the MVP of the WNBA should be the player that went from end to end in the league. Doesn't matter what you do in the playoffs because it's not, first of all, it's on a point system, right, so I'm talking to you about this because Kelsey Mitchell's the MVP. And I heard my guy Rob Lundberg, and I'm always going to, me and Rob, we're going to go back and forth, but I'm going to tell you right now, Kelsey Mitchell's the MVP. You call it what you want, right? Because she's got to take the defensive assignment. She's got to go out there and put the points on the board, and she's got to go out there and be a leader on this team, right? But she's not doing it without Caitlyn. Caitlyn's doing more than you guys really would know, right? Caitlyn's doing more coaching than you guys would even know. I mean, Caitlyn's an earmark. She's a lifer. She's a lifer. Caitlyn Clark is a lifer. When she gets done playing with the Indiana Fever basketball, she can walk right into coaching the Indiana Fever, right? She's got it down. If you watch Caitlyn walk the sideline, right? If you watch, guys, you got to catch the little things. You watch Caitlyn walk the sideline, Caitlyn's just like a WNBA coach. She just, meow, meow, meow. I mean, she's talking to players' ear. What are we going to do here? Boston, okay, this is what I see. Caitlyn Clark's coaching, right? And Stephanie White said it best. Well, she said, well, Caitlyn would be good for her to watch. She thought it was a couple games, not a season, right? But Caitlyn has found her role, you know, and the Indiana Fever got some great players. Aerial Powers, I mean, how that one landed in your lap. I can tell you, the Indiana Fever are the only team that got better, all right, got better with injuries, right? They improved the roster with injuries, and after they saw players getting hurt, they started really preparing for this as they had another scouting session, and they brought in the players that can work. Now, everybody's got an opportunity to get in there for the Indiana Fever, but, folks, this is the fourth part of the season, right? In the first part of the season, what starts off, you get a draft, okay? When you get a draft, that's when the players actually first come in. Okay, we're just playing. It's so fast, you blink an eye. The WNBA season's 4 months, so it's all happening at a rapid pace. Then after you get past that first part, then you're going to come back and you're going to play the second half of the season where the teams kind of settle in, okay, and you get to your All-Star break. After the All-Star break, you're going to play the third part of the season, which the Fever have done, and they've done well, right? So now you're going to that next step, and that's called the tournament, right? They call it the WNBA Playoffs, but it's really just an 8-team tournament. Just like the NFL, the Fever are in the tournament, and they're not the AFC. They might be the 6th or they might be the 7th. But the goal is to win it, and can you beat the teams in front of you? Yes, you can. Right? So now it's going to come down to who's going to lead the charge, because you can't run an 8-9-man rotation in the playoffs. It's really about a 7-man, 8-man rotation. That's about as far as you can go, because now when you're in this format, which is a home, away, home format, right? It's not like it was before where you would go away and then you would come back and then all of a sudden you're back in business, right? You got to go win a game to get a home game. Now they kind of evened it out with the new playoff format, home, away, home, away. And then what happens, you get to the barn burner, you make it to the final. That's going to be a 7-game series. Now, Indiana Fever players who have not been in the league are fresh legs. They're going to utilize those fresh legs, and the rest of the league is going to be bit because they're going to be dog tired. I mean, the women aren't built to play 100 basketball games in a season, and that's where the injuries are coming. Because you got to look at these injuries. The WNBA just flies through a season, and sometimes these women play in 5 games. They may play 3 to 4 games, right, in 5 nights. That's kind of hard. So the Indiana Fever are fresh. Stephanie White, go out and get her some leather, get it tailor-made is what I'd say. And, you know, you got to get Stephanie James Dean White settled in and go win a ball game. And if Fever win a ball game, you can win the series. That's how this thing's going to go. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We thank you for tuning in. We'll have a lot more coming your way as we get settled in.